All right, hello there. Christian Ash here, bringing you Lesson Learned Episode 2. First off, I want to say thanks to everyone for your support for the podcast. I think our first episode got like over 100 views, which is amazing. So as long as you guys keep listening, we'll keep putting out episodes. Also, Lesson Learned has officially partnered with Never Ran Track Corporation. You can go follow them on Instagram at Never Ran Track. Last thing, Lesson Learned merchandise is coming soon. DM us on Instagram for any questions. So without further ado, let's get rolling. Today we have Taylor Penny telling us 4 short stories, Devin McCann with a story, and Nick Fredrickson with a story and a poem. Enjoy. All right, welcome back to Lesson Learned. Sadly, Tappy could not be here right now, but you'll catch him at the end of the episode. But I'm here with Taylor Penny, and I think he's got 4 different small stories that he'd like to tell to us. You want to introduce yourself?
Well, my name's Taylor Penny. I'm kind of the partial owner of a entertainment company called Never Ran Track.
Which Lesson Learned is now partnered with. So.
Yeah, we're very proud to be partnered with Lesson
Indeed,
Learned. I think it's a great podcast. I've been described by various people throughout my life as a weirdo, like gross, repulsive, disgusting, a creep, perverted. Just a few days ago, I was referred to by someone as a, quote, greasy fuck. So yeah, that's just kind of all you need to know about me, I guess.
All right. Well, that's Taylor, and here's his stories. You can start whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, let me think here. So, yeah, I've kind of got like a quadrilogy of stories to tell today, and they all do kind of have a binding theme, which is like they're all sort of stories about me and my friends getting in trouble with authority in some way, which is kind of is somewhat like rare for us because we're kind of like pussies. We don't really do anything like crazy, but yeah. So I guess I should start off with like by far the shortest story, which is that it was like one day and me and a few friends we went to Cub. I think we were getting like, I don't know, you're probably like getting cupcakes or something. I don't know. And I was with Ishvan Miko, and he for some reason he wanted to grab my phone. So we kind of did this thing where we fought in the bread aisle of Cub, and then some lady just walks up to us and she's like, "You guys need to leave right now."
The Cub Foods lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were fighting in the...
Well, but it was... If you would have seen it, it was it wasn't even close to real fighting. It was so obviously just kind of us messing around, So, yeah. And so next story is... yeah, like I said, very short. Next story would be with one Eli Forsling. If you know Eli, he's quite the character.
Oh, definitely.
And this is a very similar situation. It was lunchtime, and we kind of as a group, we kind of do this thing where we go between we go in this little lobby area.
Oh, the threshold.
The threshold between the doors leading outside.
Yeah, so
and
the threshold is the doors between sort of when you're walking to discard your lunch, sort of. The doors that you'll pass on your left, the area between that and the outside is what we refer to as the threshold.
And we kind of, especially last semester, we went there pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And everybody was kind of circled around me and Eli, and we were having this obviously really stupid, fake-looking mock fight where we were both circling each other, fists comically raised. And he fake punched me, and I did kind of a roll, and Char happened to be there. Or I probably shouldn't say her name. The kind of the supervisor, and she was really pissed off at us, and she was like, don't pull this kind of shit again, and oh, I've seen this before. You say you're fake fighting, but somebody accidentally throws a real punch, then it gets real fast. So she sends us both to ISS. We miss most of our next class for no reason. And then so she says that she's going to have us both do 4 days of lunch detention, but the superintendent doesn't know my name. So the next day me and Eli go to the table for lunch detention, and she's like reading off the list, and she's like, Taylor Penny, I don't see your name here. So I get off scot-free, no consequences. Eli, meanwhile, he has to do 4 days of lunch detention.
What was his reaction to that when you got to leave?
He was pretty pissed. Yeah. So, and I think he actually did, like, he got let off a little bit early, like, after a day or so.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I guess moving on to the third story, and no surprise if you know him, but this is the story that involves actual police officers, and it involves, it also heavily involves Trace Burmeister.
Burmeister.
It was, I think it was one of my birthday parties. This was like, I think a year ago.
Okay.
So there's a really long kind of trail near my house that goes through like a public park.
Okay.
And whenever I have like a big group over, we kind of like walk through this trail really slowly. It takes us like 40 minutes to an hour.
It's very romantic.
It's quite romantic. Well, we kind of just like walk along the path and just cause trouble. You know, we go on like the playground equipment and like yell at kids and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like a little building that has like 2 bathrooms. You know, but they're both like locked all the time because I think they're like private and you need to get a key to get in. And so anyway, we're all kind of for no reason. We all just kind of decide, we should all like climb up onto here. And most of us try, but we just completely fail. But Trace, being he's quite the strong guy, and he just scrabbles right up there. And so for my birthday, Brandon and Trace Burmeister kind of got us these like cat toys.
Okay.
And we were like carrying them around. They're kind of like it's like a fake paw, like a cat paw with like a trigger, and then if you pull the trigger, the cat paw kind of flexes, and then it makes like a meowing noise.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of a weird toy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we were like carrying them around, and then Trace is up like on the roof of this bathroom, and his brother Brandon like throws him up one of the cat toys and is like, drop it down the exhaust pipe.
Oh, so there's an exhaust pipe on the roof to the bathrooms. Because, if you're going to smoke in the bathrooms, I guess you need an exhaust pipe.
Mm-hmm. So, and anyway, so he doesn't. He kind of like dangles it over the exhaust pipe for like a second, but he doesn't. And unbeknownst to us, it's kind of, this bathroom is kind of like facing a road, and there's like a big clear area with a bunch of grass, and then there's like the road.
Okay.
So unbeknownst to us, a woman is driving by, and she sees this, and it's probably the worst thing she's ever seen in her life, because what does she do? But she immediately calls the police. So literally what she saw was a teenager just on the roof of like a public building. Like, maybe she must have seen him like dangling the thing, because she called the police and said like, hey, there's some kids about to drop something down an exhaust pipe. And so I guess she saw that, but still, like, it still boggles my mind to this day that she's like, that she would think that this is so important that the police
have to be notified
this. And I'm sure, of course, the police have nothing better to do than go check on a bunch of teenagers who are doing literally nothing. So anyway, but we don't know this at the time. Harrison Yarwood, he like turned around and he saw it, but he didn't mention it to any of us.
Okay.
So anyway, and we keep going, and maybe like 20 minutes to a half hour later, we're almost to my house. Like, my house is like in sight. We're less than a block away, and like a cop car kind of pulls up next to us and like slows down. The guy rolls down his window, and he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for a group of about a dozen teenagers or so. I heard that did you guys climb up on top of like a bathroom in that park back there?" And we were like, "Oh yeah, we did." And he's like, "Well, did you happen to drop anything down that exhaust pipe?" We were like, "No, we didn't." And then he's like, "Specifically, I'm looking for a teenager in black shorts and a blue shirt." And Trace is just standing there in black shorts and a blue shirt, just stock silent. Probably the most terrified he's ever been in his life. And we all just kind of like remain silent, like, oh, I don't know, we don't have anybody in those clothes. So, but anyway, and he kind of gives us like a fake threat. He's like, so if I go out and I check that exhaust pipe, I'm not gonna find anything in it. And we're like, no. I love the implication that this guy would actually
actually climb up there and check the bathroom exhaust pipe.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, but anyway. And then so he's like, okay, you guys have a good day or whatever, and then he drives away. But just to be safe, I have us, we're almost to my house, but I have us like walk around the block again, just so in case he's like trying to follow us home, and then Anyway, which I guess was a little paranoid of me, but whatever. So that's that. Fourth story.
All right, story number 4.
So, this is the most recent story. It was only like a few weeks ago now.
Okay.
And so, we had a big get-together, big powwow, and we all, like, went to at the suggestion of Alex Kester, we all went to, like, a roller rink in Coon Rapids.
Yeah.
I had no idea that there were roller rinks, like, existing
Still.
in 2017, yeah. Like, it was just a complete shock to me. And we go in there, and it is honestly, like, unreal. Like, there's like, the DJ, there's, like, an actual DJ. We just assumed that it was, like, an automated voice, because every, once in a while he'll be like, okay, 15 minutes till we're doing the next blackout, or something like that. I thought it was just, like, an automated voice. They actually have, like, a DJ performing there.
Says that,
and he has, like... And he's playing a bunch of, like, pop hits from, like, 2010 and 11. Like, I hear, like, LMFAO and Kesha. And so anyway, yeah. And I thought that roller skating would be one of those things where, like, it might be hard at first, but I get good at it, like, really quickly.
Yeah.
I get the hang of it. This was not the case. I was terrible at roller skating. I was getting lapped by, like, 5-year-olds. Which it's also important to note that we were... outside of, like, the regulars, who I will get to next, we were by far the youngest people there. It was mostly, like, like literal chilled, like, babies. There were parents in rollerblades, like, pushing strollers around the rink to, like, maybe 5, 7, 10, So we're the oldest people there by about half a decade. Outside of, like I said, the regulars, which this is just an entire, like, group of people that I never thought existed, which is people who are extremely good, people who are our age, like, 15 to 17, who are extremely good at rollerblading. Like, these people are doing, like, all kinds of crazy tricks. It's clear that they come here, like, all the time. And it just kind of blew my mind, because I was like, wow, these people are, like, that's such a weird thing to be good at, And this wouldn't be bad on its own, whatever. They kind of have a weird skill, whatever. But they're, like, really smug about it, too. Like, I'm going slow, and they like, keep passing me, and they kind of give me these, like, smug looks. Like, oh, this guy doesn't know how to rollerblade, and I just got pissed off at that. But anyway, so about an hour or so passes, and at this point, I'm just done. Like,
like, fuck this.
Yeah, like, I kind of walk off, and a few other people do, like, I think Brandon and Jake did as well. And Logan. So, anyway, we're all just kind of, like, sitting off to the side, and eventually the rest of them kind of accumulate, and we're all sitting around talking. We decide, hey, you know what we should do? We should record an album in the middle of the roller rink. But this quickly gets pared down to, we should record a song in the middle of the roller rink, which quickly gets pared down to, let's record a song in the bathroom. So... all, like, 14 of us go to the bathroom, tiny little narrow bathroom. While we're, like, setting up, one guy, like, he just walks in and he sees all of us. He just turns around, walks straight out. He's like, nope, I am not fucking with this. So and we record this song. It'll hopefully be on the next Freshman Holocaust album. Oh, I should also mention, yeah, I'm in a band called Freshman Holocaust, and yeah, so. We weren't just, like, a bunch of random people who were like, oh, let's record a song. We're a bunch of random people in a band who were like, oh, let's record a song. So, yeah, we recorded it. There was some rapping. Mainly we didn't have any instruments, obviously. So, for, like, percussion and stuff, we just, like, banged the stall doors and, like, pounded on on the walls or like stomped our feet and like turned the sinks on and off, flushed the toilets. It's awesome. So and like just as we're wrapping up the song, one of the like regulars about our age comes in and he's like, "Hey, you guys got to leave or the management's gonna kick you out." So of course we leave. We kind of disperse, and me and the same few people like Jake, Brandon, and Logan, we're kind of like sitting around because we decided we're just done with skating for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
We're just kind of sitting around, and we see like kind of this old like fat guy who clearly works there, and he's talking to somebody else who works there, and he like points at us, and he's like, "Is that them?" And then the lady says, "Oh no, it sounded like a group of 14 kids maybe." So they were actually looking for us. Like I thought the kid was bullshitting, but they were seriously like they wanted to kick us out, which is hilarious. So yeah, anyway, we kind of leave slowly. I wanted us to like disperse in groups of 3 or 4 to avoid detection, but everybody comes out in a big group, which is kind of frustrating, but whatever. There was actually me and like the 3 other people, Jake, Brandon, and Logan. We left like earlier than everybody else, and we were like waiting outside, and we honestly thought that they'd gotten like caught. And that they were being, like, I didn't really know what Cheapskate could do legally, but, like, I just thought they were being, like, detained in some back office. So, but that was not the case. They all just kind of came out. Nothing really happened, but I would really love to do a concert or record an album or something like that at that roller rink, because I think they'd love to have us back. Yeah. It was kind of... It was a strange place too. I should add one more thing, because we realized they have all these like quote unquote games, right? But the games aren't really games. There's rarely like an objective. One of the games is called the dice game, and what happens is one of the like regulars will roll a huge dice, and everybody else goes to these corners, and whoever corner is called, they have to like leave. It's basically like musical chairs. But I'm like...
With the fucking dice?
Yeah, but with the dice, and just like...
die?
And with like 20 people leaving at once instead of a few people. And I was just like, that's not like a game, that's not fun at all. But it gets more nefarious than this, okay? The next game they played while we were there, I don't remember the name of it, but basically the objective was they would play like a song, and then when the music stopped, you had to sit down as fast as you could. Right? So again, basically a terrible musical chair ripoff. But what we realized was that all they were doing was they wanted to see everybody make fools of themselves, because, of course, everybody's sitting down as fast as they can, so everybody's just falling on their ass. Like, they were literally just doing this to see everybody, like, embarrass themselves. So we kind of decided to take a stand against this, and we all stood up, arms crossed, even when the music stopped, and they actually had to, like, stop the game. Like, because we were all standing up and just refused to participate. So, yeah. That said, I would love to go back there.
There you go.
I'm sure we're quite popular with the management and the patrons.
All right. That's 4 stories.
Yeah. That's about it, yeah.
What would you say? What's the lesson learned here?
Well, lesson learned is, sometimes authority is kind of bullshit, and maybe you should break the rules, because some rules are sort of pointless.
Dude, authority is always bullshit.
No, not always bullshit.
No, it's always bullshit. No.
I mean, maybe that's the message you'll take from this. Yeah, but I guess the lesson is that you shouldn't worry too much about breaking rules if they're stupid rules.
There you go, and also probably. Don't go hanging around with Trace Burmeister when he's going to
Because he will get the cops
called on you. He will get the cops called on you.
Without fail.
No, this is serious.
Yeah.
So,
he's a dangerous man.
Yeah.
Much as I love him.
As much as I love him also, he's dangerous. All right. Well, thanks for being here, Taylor.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. See y'all later. All right, welcome back. Christian Ash here with Matt Tappy and Devin McCann.
Hello. All right.
Devin, just introduce yourself, tell us a bit about yourself, and then set the scene for your story that you're going to tell us.
All right. Well, I am a 10th grader at St. Anthony Village High School. I am 6'4", and I was a former cross-country runner for the cross-country team.
Okay.
Yep. And my story is about a cross-country run that kind of spun out of control. And I'll give you a brief introduction on who the coaches are of the cross-country team.
All right.
There is a teacher named T-Mac, and his assistant coach is Mr. Victorine. And one day in September, this was like 1.5 years ago,
Okay.
I think.
So, eighth grade, yeah?
Ninth grade.
Ninth
No.
grade, okay.
Yeah, 1.5. Is that 1.5 years?
Yeah.
Yep, 1.5 years ago. And this year I didn't do cross country, so the cross country team, this was like September, and we were going to do the Honeywell run, which is one of our longest runs.
About how long is that? Like, how many miles would that be?
It's like 3 to 4 miles, I think,
Okay.
or 3 to 5. It's a long run.
It's a long
you
run,
go.
yeah.
So the run is you go down Silver Lake Road, and then that golf course, or the cemetery, and the golf course, you go through St. Anthony Parkway, is that right? And then you turn down right towards Honeywell, and then you come out by the quarry, and then you run back.
Okay.
So anyway, we're going to do that run, but we want to do the short run, so it's a shorter run, and we don't have to do the long run. So it was me, Elliot, and Eli.
This is Elliot Peters and Eli Forsland?
Yep.
All right.
We were going to do this run, and we were going to do the short run. And T-Mac didn't like that, and he told us to give him an excuse of why we're not doing the longer run. Eli somehow came up with a good enough excuse where he didn't have to do the run. And me and Elliot kind of copied his excuse, and he wouldn't let us run the short run, so we had to run the longer run with the varsity kids. And so then we started the run. Now, the year before, we could take our shirts off when we ran, but now we can't. So, and all the seniors we left too. So, it was kind of a year where we had to make our own fun out of this team. And
a recipe for disaster. Perfect storm.
All right. Yeah, exactly. So me and Elliot were running this long run, and we had to take a shit.
Okay.
And we stopped. We told Mr. Vic, and we said, "Oh, can we stop at this porta potty in the golf course?" And he's like, "Sure, but you have to catch back up." And we had a tennis ball with us too that we play. We bounce it around and throw it to each other or whatever. So I took the shit first, and then Elliot took the shit. And by then it was like, I don't know, 7 minutes. So we had to catch back up. So we ran up, and then we run by this highway.
Okay.
And there's a fence there and a little. Oh, you can see the Minneapolis skyline. Mm-hmm. And it was either me or Elliot. We came up with this idea where we throw the tennis ball on the highway and see if it would hit a car. So, and then we were like, "Oh, there's a camera over there," but we ended up throwing it anyway. I forgot if it was me or Elliot throwing the tennis ball, but we threw the tennis ball, and I don't know how it missed all the cars, and then it stopped at the median, and that was pretty crazy. And then we were like, "Oh, that's so funny," and then we ran off. So by then we were probably like 15 minutes behind the rest of the team. So then we're like, "Oh, I'm kind of thirsty. Let's go to Taco Bell." So then,
because you're thirsty, yeah.
Yeah, and we're like, "Oh, can we get a water cup?" And then the lady's like, "Oh, of course." So then we get lemonade and Dr. Pepper, and then we run out of there, and then we're like, "Oh, that's so funny too," and then we're like, "Oh, that's where Mr. Vic and I forgot the other lady's name. Oh, that's where they're supposed to meet us at, and we couldn't see any of the team there. So then we're like, oh my gosh, we have to start booking it, and we took this shortcut towards it's the it's a road that leads up to Dairy Queen, and so eventually we got back to the high school, and we were freaking out.
You took the shortcut, and then you to get back to the high school?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we still didn't see any of the team there. And then we ran past Stuart Scamhorn, and he
Okay.
was walking back to his house. So they've been there for about 20 minutes. So we see the coaches by the softball scoreboard, and we try to run around and get to the locker rooms, but they see us. And then T-Mac yells, "Hey, get over here!" So then we have to go over there. And then there's T-Mac, Mr. Vic, and the other lady, I forgot her name. Now, keep in mind, I respect T-Mac, and I always will. But this is the day where he snapped on me and Elliot. I can't believe Eli wasn't there somehow, but he's yelled at Eli many times before. So anyway, T-Mac had his dog and his baby there in his arms.
Okay.
So we walked up to him. His baby had Baby Jordan 7s and their the French blue colorway.
So, not all of our listeners speak fluent shoe head, sneaker head, whatever.
French.
Those are like really high end shoes?
Well,
right?
they're just
Or
like
they're-
they're just 7s. I mean, they're probably like 60.
Oh, you were just describing. There's nothing really special about the shoes. You were just describing.
Yeah,
the
they're like
shoes.
$40 to $60 baby shoes. I mean,
Oh, okay. So
which is pretty.
It's a pretty good shoe.
it's a pretty
Yeah.
good shoe for a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So anyway, his face is just pissed. He's like, "Where were you guys? And I know you did something wrong, and you didn't catch up with the team." So we were like, "Oh, we just took a long time going poop, you know." And he's like, "We didn't do anything wrong." And Elliot was explaining to him. I wasn't really talking because I was like too scared of T-Mac when he's angry. His face was getting pretty red. And darn, I forgot what he said. He said, well, he was talking with Elliot, and then he's like, "I know you guys are lying." And
You guys were trying to say that you didn't do anything. Just
Yeah.
sort of that it was.
And then he said something like, I was saying yes the whole time or something. He's like, "Can you say anything other than yes?" So it's like, I said yes, of course. And then he got really mad at me. And then, anyway, he was just getting really pissed. Like, he was yelling. And then Mr. Vic came over.
Just yelling.
Yeah, and then Mr. Vic came over and he's like, "You guys were doing something and I need to know what it is." And we're like, "Oh, we're just going to the bathroom." And then Mr. Vic got mad as well. He was like,
Oh man.
"I'm not stupid. Do you think I'm stupid?" And then me and Elliot were like, "We're not calling you stupid. We're just saying what happened." He's like, he just kept saying, "Do you think I'm stupid?" I said, No. And then somehow T-Mac kept yelling at me, and then I forgot her name. The other lady coach,
Okay.
the gym the girl
Mizelle?
gym
Kronbach?
Mizelle, yeah,
Okay.
Mizelle. She came over and she's like, "Okay, I think they've learned their lesson." She actually said that.
So you guys think that you
that was word for word?
Yeah, it was
All
word
right.
for word.
Well, that
So
fits
then-
in great with this podcast.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, we're like, "Oh, okay, we're sorry, but we didn't do anything." And then he's like, "Okay, you guys can leave or something." And he was just mad at me for the whole rest of the cross country season, me and Elliot. But I just can remember him holding his baby in his arms and yelling at me. And then he set his baby down and yelled at us even harder.
So he could use his hands,
Yeah,
right? to
yeah,
gesture
exactly.
at you.
So, yep, that's what happened. And eventually he started liking me again, I guess. Now, don't get me wrong. I like T-Mac, and he's a great teacher. He's one of my best teachers, actually. So, yep.
So the lesson learned here is
Don't
go around with Elliot Peters for too long.
Exactly.
You know?
Then you start getting his mindset. You know.
All right. Lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
Yep. Lesson learned.
There you go. All right. Thank you very much, Devin.
Yep.
All right. Welcome back to Lesson Learned. I'm Christian Ash. I'm here with Matt Tappy.
Hey.
And Nick Fredrickson.
Hello, all.
So Nick, why don't you introduce yourself and start telling your story?
Well, I'm Nick Fredrickson, and I have a story to tell, but I don't really know if I want to tell it because it is a very traumatic experience in my life.
I think you should go for it.
You think I should go for it? Well, words can sometimes be hard to tell unless they're written in form, unless you put it in poetry. So maybe I should just say a poem I wrote about it. Facing It by Nick Fredrickson. The past can be disputed, absurd ideas refuted, with but one way to put it straight, dish it up and let go of that plate. I wait until the sun's story be told, until the thing I love most be cold, whisper to myself this is not a joke, and give every light switch a downward poke. I knew what I must do in my head, to descend the steps, but I stall instead. The darkness does not resign, after each half-hearted try. Of cheesy goodness I have been thwarted. Saddest thing I've ever seen, my dad retorted. As I devour defeat with just a few chews, my greatest fear is officially true.
Okay. Well,
What's that?
What's
that about?
What's that about? Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll share it. Really traumatic experience for me. I don't know, I've been contemplating it for a few months beforehand, and I don't know if I was afraid of the dark or not, because, you know, sometimes I'd be coming out of the room and I'd give a little, like, skip at the end, you know, right before the door, because I felt like something was behind me, so, and I just wanted to put it all aside and figure out straight if I was afraid of the dark or not. So I cooked myself a plate of mac and cheese because it is my favorite food and
What
one of
kind
my
of-
most favorite
kind of-
things.
Yeah. What
brand
flavor?
did you have?
What brand?
Annie's,
flavor?
the one with the bunny on the front, the
Oh.
cup-shaped
And
shells.
do you use
The
a
cup-shaped
spoon or a
shells?
fork with your mac and cheese?
Proud to announce that I use a spoon.
Good man.
I'm half and half. I kind of go either
Okay.
way. Depends on the creaminess.
True. And continue.
So I cooked my mac and cheese, and my basement, it's very dark because there's no windows besides those, and it was dark outside anyways.
Yeah.
And they got those, like, whatever, windows, not good windows. And so I put it in the far corner of my basement away from the stairs going down. And as I was coming up, I turned off all the lights, and I decided to prove that I was unafraid of the dark, I would have to go through the whole basement with my eyes closed and the lights off and get my mac and cheese.
Why would
Maybe with your eyes closed.
Why would you have your eyes closed if it's already the lights are off?
Because I knew my basement well enough, and it was scary.
Okay.
Okay. Go on.
So I tried multiple times. I even tried with my eyes open after a few times. Didn't help. And I just couldn't do it,
So, like, what would happen when you start walking?
I would start walking, and then I'd run back up the stairs very quickly.
Okay. I'd just like to point out for everyone listening, Nick Fredrickson is a junior in high school. What are you? Are you 17?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I am now officially afraid of the dark.
Okay, so what you kept trying with your eyes open?
I tried
and
a lot
with
of
your-
times,
You
yes.
tried. How many times do you think you tried?
At least like 10, 15.
10, 15 times you tried to go get that mac and cheese,
Yeah.
but you
Now,
could.
was your dad there? Because he was
Yes.
referencing the poem.
Yes, he
Okay.
was. He was upstairs waiting for me to come up with the mac and cheese, which I didn't.
You didn't because he couldn't get it because it was in the dark.
Yeah, I was too scared to go get it.
So
I kept seeing things, you know?
what did you think was in the dark?
There's all kinds of stuff.
Like-
There's You got these monsters which can hide in the corners. You got little rats running around on the ground.
Do you believe in what kind of monsters do you picture?
I don't know. It felt like not quite a ghost, but like a slim figure just standing in the corner, maybe, like just kind of waiting for me, you know.
But the slim figures, he's never there when you turn the lights on.
No,
He's
I don't know how he does it, but I did end up eating the mac and cheese after I turned the lights on.
After you turn the lights on, and went okay.
And I got it. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Okay, so, what did you learn from this experience?
Well, number one, probably the main reason I did this was to find out if I was afraid of the dark. So I did learn that I was afraid of the dark.
You're afraid of the dark? Okay.
But maybe a deeper lesson was that to reach your goals, you got to do things which you may not feel comfortable doing, which may not be in your best interest. But if you really want that goal, you've got to go through tough stuff.
So you don't really want that goal at all?
As I look back on it, I realize I should have kept going no matter what happened or what I was seeing.
Are you gonna try this again?
Most likely not. It's a traumatic experience.
Okay.
But perhaps in the future, could give it a shot.
Give it a shot. All right. So lesson learned is that you're afraid of the dark,
Yes.
and that sometimes you got to do what's hard to get your goal, like walking through your dark basement to get some mac and cheese. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
This is Taylor.
Yeah.
He's back.
So, but the lesson that doesn't really apply, does it? Because didn't you turn the lights on to get the mac and cheese? So
Yeah.
you didn't really
Yes.
face the hardships to get your goal.
I know I did not face the hardships, and I realize I should have faced the hardships.
Mhm.
But it's a lesson to other people to not give up as easily as I did.
Well, I think that's really inspiring.
That is inspiring. All right. Well, thanks for listening to Nick's story.
You're welcome.
All right.
Hi, this is Matt Tappy from Lesson Learned. Thanks for listening to episode 2. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram. Also follow Never Ran Track on Instagram at Never Ran Track. New episodes will be released every Sunday. Merchandise for Lesson Learned will be coming soon. Hope you learned your lesson. Stay out of trouble and don't be punks.